Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how I mount my action camera on my helmet. Welcome to the DNA. So I like photography and I like riding bikes. So it was about time I put both of them together and thought about motovlogging. And anyone who's thought about motovlogging would know that one of the best ways to do it is put an action camera on a helmet and show the people exactly what you're seeing. Already had a helmet, so problem solved there. So I got myself an action camera, some mounts, and decided to go with it. Did have a challenge though. For the helmet that I had, not all the chin bars are the same. Some of them have enough space. If it's a flat surface or a big enough surface, you don't really have any issues in getting your mounts up. But I had, now you can see it's very curved, and at the same time I didn't have enough space at the bottom. If I had to vertically mount it like everybody normally would, I would end up blocking the vents, which is okay considering I'm going to be recording audio in the helmet, so I need the vent closed, but I prefer having the option to open it on one of those summer days when I really need some air inside. So if you see, this is how I have decided to go with it. I ended up putting it horizontally and it worked out very well. I'll let you know why in just a moment. But here's what I did. I used the same 3M adhesive that came with the mounts. I stuck it with the adhesive, but the curved mount was not curved enough. So it did leave me with some gaps to the side. So I just took some M-Seal, I pressed it to the sides, and it looks a little ugly, but at least I know that I'm going to make it home with the camera. So that's worth it. And once that was done, I had the J-mount, and one of the most obvious solutions was, because it is going to go horizontally, I have one of these mounts coming up here. And by the way, you do have these things sticking up everywhere, which just makes the whole setup bigger. So instead of using these, I got myself some of these. These screws are the same size and they don't have the grip because you don't need it. And they would go here. And so this was the first setup that I thought about. I was like, okay, all I need to do is get one of the screws to hit it to the side and the other one to take it to the top. So it looked something like this. Okay, here we go. Just one moment. Right, so I've got this on, and there was another 90-degree extension, a short extension that went this way, and that mostly covered the whole thing. And this was golden. So here I had it. Perfect setup, and it would slide onto the cam right this way, and here you go. Now this is great. It is something that will work. It is something that will work for almost all the situations, but I had a small problem. Now if you look at a motovlog that runs a video in this setup, it looks fine, but when you look at the road or when you look at the person riding the bike, it is not exactly in the center. I was totally fine with it, but one fine day I noticed the difference where I was watching my favorite motovlogger and he was riding his bike. One rear view mirror or the side mirror was completely visible. The other one was cut in half because the camera was not exactly in the center. I didn't have any issues with it, but the moment I started noticing it, it was bothering me, and I didn't want to have the same kind of a video. So I decided to do something different, and it doesn't really take that much. So check this out. So we got this taken out, and you see the shorter one over here? Instead of this short extension, I just ended up putting a longer one. And let me show you how that looks. So this gets replaced on the J mount. Instead of this one goes this one. If you notice, it is bigger, and that's exactly what we want, because we want to increase the distance of the camera from the beginning of the J mount. You'll get what I'm saying in just a moment. So once you've got the long extension on, it'll look something like this. The screw area would come somewhere over here, and now it is extended a little to the side. So the same previous small mount that we had, we're going to use the same one and mount it on top of this. Something like that. And you see, because you've got these screws, you don't have a long key here and another key here, so it just makes the overall setup look more neat and less messy. So just works well for me that way. And once we've got that on, all you have to do is put it on the helmet. So if you look at this now, the lens is in the center. So whatever you cover to your right is exactly what you cover to your left, and your lens is exactly at the center of where you're going. Like I said, doesn't make a very big difference, but overall, for somebody who is noticing every single thing in your video, these small things might just add on to the quality of your video and a little more precise about what you're doing. So I like it this way. I did have the option to mount this over here, and you have the whole setup of having a couple of joints bringing it to the center, and then you can have your lens exactly where you want it. The problem with that is it needs 4 to 5 extensions like these, and I don't want to put a lot of weight on the adhesive over here. It's just more weight, the more risk of it breaking off and falling down. So this just worked out better. If you have a helmet where you don't have the vertical mount and you have to fit it horizontally, this might just be the way to go, or this might just work out for you, so you can try it out. You do have the option to still use M-Seal to make a mold and mount it vertically. You'll just have to sacrifice the ventilation by not opening your vents anymore, but if you're okay with it, awesome. If not, I think this is working out pretty well for me. I do not record audio on the GoPro. I have a mic, just like one of these mics. I have one of them inside here in the cheek pad, and the wires just sit in the headphone mount. All I do is when I put on the helmet, I just connect it to my phone, and once the phone is connected, I'll start the recording, both of them at the same time. You can either sync the audio by keeping the audio on your GoPro on and the phone on. The wave files will actually merge themselves if you're using something like DaVinci Resolve, which I do. Or if you want to use any other software which doesn't show you the wave format, you can just clap 2 or 3 times, and that will give you an audio spike, and you'll exactly know where the audio is if you want to match the wave files, that is. Or if you just clap, that motion of when your hands hit, you can match that sound of clap along with it, and the rest of the video will fall in place. I just like it that way because, first of all, I don't think the audio adapter system of GoPro made a lot of sense to me. First of all, you have to buy an audio adapter, and then you cannot fix a TRRS cable to it. So then you have to buy an adapter for that adapter and then connect it to your mic, and I'm just not sure if I want to do that. So here is my setup.
All right, so yeah, I hope it's coming out fine. If it's not, then I'm gonna have to just redo the whole thing again. But I don't think we have too many loopholes in this. I mean, it's like a totally external mic, and camera is just running on its own, so I don't see too many things that can go wrong. But it's actually the first time I'm setting it up, so you never know, right? So we're just gonna go with it, and I'll record for some time and then play back and see. If everything is okay, this will be on the video. If not, then I'm just gonna have to come out for another ride, for another run. But yeah, I guess we're good. This is the first moto vlog, I guess.
If you liked what you saw, do consider subscribing. I will make it a little more easier. I'll put a subscribe button at the end. You can just click on it, subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more of it. And ride safe and have a nice day.